Justin, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Coffee Chat Friday.
Welcome everyone to another Coffee Chat. Happy to be here with CTO Justin Barr, our second session. So this is pretty exciting. How's your week been?
It's been great. I actually got to visit a client on site this week for the first time in probably a year and a half since COVID hit. So I was really excited to get on site and start to discuss strategy with the client. So it's been a great week.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been a while since we're starting to do that. So it's refreshing. It's exciting that we're able to do that. So looking forward to our chat today. We're going to talk about one of the key areas that led CPS to where we're at now, and one of the digital pillars that we focus on that we're talking to our clients about, and that is business process automation. So before we dive into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of CPS and how we got there, and how business process automation fits in our history a little bit. When I joined CPS and looked at the website, there was a lot of words and verbiage about eliminating paper, and I wasn't sure exactly what that meant. I was pretty fresh out of college at the time, and business process meant nothing to me. So for those that don't know and aren't aware of business process, let's start a little bit with the history of CPS and then get into it.
Perfect. Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, everyone deals with business processes. You deal with business processes, in everyday business. And a lot of people don't even realize that it's really their business process, but it's the act of doing some task for some reason. And, at the onset of CPS, we saw that having paper is so inefficient. Even with the onset of email's inefficient in business processes. And the whole reason is because of visibility. You have no visibility to where that piece of paper is. You have no visibility of whose inboxes has that email and what their approval. So when CPS started, it was all around bringing visibility into the organization. And so as we start to bring visibility through what we do, like your question, Trevor, you asked, is what is a business process? So we actually classify them into high-level business processes that have sub-levels and even sub-levels after that. So, for example, I talk to a lot of our customers on these high-level, and I say quote to order, order to cash, procure to pay, hire to retire, and record to report. Each one of those high-level business processes have sub-levels underneath. So if we just go back to the very beginning of quote to order, a quote to order process is simply quoting a customer for a good or a service, and then being able to approve that and turn that approval into an order, so that then it can either be manufactured or that the services can be performed. So when we get into business processes, we talk a lot, and a lot of people are familiar with a lot of business processes. When you get hired at CPS, Trevor, the business process is called employee onboarding. You need a laptop, you need security. So yeah, going back to the beginning, in CPS, it's all around, business process automation. It's all around getting visibility into your organization.
Awesome. Okay. So from that answer, I heard a couple things. Automation being a word that in today's digital age and age of technology is a word that's used a lot. So maybe touch on, we say business process. What is some of the impacts that a business sees as they start to automate these processes?
Yeah, so I love to give customer stories, the impact of automating business processes and what that does for their organization. So a lot of time when we're automating business processes, we're shrinking the time to complete a process. You can think about customer onboarding. Normally it takes 4 days. What if it took 2 days? Now, if we're able to get customers in our company faster, therefore we're able to collect cash faster. That's a really important for organizations to bring that cash in quicker. When we think about one of our customers, Cooper Tire, their impact to their organization was they wanted to get tires to market faster. It was taking them 24 months to get their tires to market. So how do we get that new product development cycle and getting that tire to market faster? Well, it was around automating their data entry. When they were entering it into their ERP system, it was taking about 110 hours to enter all these materials, all these different tires into their system. When we automated the impact, the result, when we automated that business process, it now takes less than 5 hours to get the data in the system. So they went from 24 months down to 12 months on a simple fact that they focused on business process automation. They focused in the engineering, new product development area. And that's the impact you can see with automating business processes.
Wow, that's a pretty substantial reduction there in time and effort. That sounds like a lot of work. For a customer or someone that's thinking about that. What's the process like to get started, or how do we kick off these conversations?
Yeah, that it is somewhat can be a lot of work, but really at CPS we focus on the result that you're looking to achieve and the ROI. And so, there's hard savings and soft savings. Some of our customers are automating business processes because it's a compliant, which is an indirect saving or indirect ROI. It's part of being regulatory or compliant. Some are looking for that hard savings. Just talked to that customer that we visited on site. They have 2 FTEs that were saved on just automating their data entry into their system using business process automation. So when we start in the beginning, we ask a lot of questions. We want to make sure we understand the total scope of what we're trying to automate, what your business process looks like. We know from start to finish, how that works. As far as it goes from our company, we'll have an architect that's usually on a call for an hour and a half, 2 hours, really discussing the statement of work and discussing all the things that need to be automated in your business process. And then we'll go ahead and provide an estimate. If we've only spent a couple hours, usually that estimate's, a rough order of magnitude. It says roughly plus or minus 30%. This is what it's going to cost to automate this. And then once you say, yeah, this is looking within my range, then we start to get into creating a statement of work that actually gets into more details. And then that'll be plus or minus 10%. So all by the time that we're really, working with you and asking you looking at the savings that you're going to accomplish or why we're even doing this. Because if it's not going to save you, $50, $100, $200,000, maybe even $1 million, depending on what we're doing, then it may be not worth doing it. So we really take the ROI and the savings into consideration to say whether it's worth automating this or not. Because there are thousands of business processes, and some are best just left in Excel and having people deal with it there, and some are worth automating.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks for that. So the last year of the world has been a crazy one, and a lot of companies now are changing their model a little bit as far as where employees are working. I think we're seeing a shift and a realization that a lot of work can still get done without employees in the office full time. So with that in mind, without the luxury that some companies might have of someone being able to walk over to another cube or walk over to an office and get a report signed or hand something off, how have you seen any shifts with the conversations or companies starting to investigate this more just out of necessity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have. CPS as a whole, our company felt the impact of COVID just in the May timeframe when it first started, and that was because everyone was shifting everyone to work from home. And so, we certainly saw the downtick in our company because we just couldn't communicate effectively with the people that were traditionally in offices. So a lot of IT and infrastructure and VPNs were getting set up for our customers so that they could actually work from home. But once they settled in with working from home, then everyone found that, wow, we can't just walk next door to have someone sign this piece of paper. Wow, it's so inefficient to send an email out to all these people to try to get multiple signatures. It just doesn't work. You would think, well, we used to just take a piece of paper and send it around, and now, we got to email it, and by emailing it, it's inefficient. I don't know who has it. So our business has definitely taken off because of the onset of this new world we're living in, and I think people were scared. Even in my career, I was back in 2003, 2004. They were offering work from home programs, and it worked, and it actually was very successful. But I think companies were afraid of productivity of employees and stuff, so everyone's kept everyone in. But now we've been pushed out, and they've seen that productivity increase. They've seen some good results. So I have a couple customers of mine saying we may not be going back into the office. This may be the new normal for IT and in other areas that don't have to be in the office, because it is truly a benefit to work from home. And at CPS, we've always been a virtual company. We've always worked from home. So COVID didn't affect us. You can work from Florida to California, and some of our employees actually do that. So it's a great view of working from home. It's a great benefit, but for our customers, certainly it has accelerated their automation and really looking at their business processes.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. The word that stuck out to me there was the visibility aspect of it, because when not everyone is in the same place, it's harder to keep track of where things are at and in that process. So that makes a ton of sense. So last question, as we wrap up and start to think about some of our future coffee chats, we're talking about business process automation and its totality, but are there different areas? What are some of the key areas within business process automation that when you talked about the different levels to it? So maybe give a little teaser on what some of those levels are, and something that we can talk about as we continue on.
Sure. Yeah, these coffee chats are going to be fun. It's always good to keep these conversations going and just educate the market. So as we start to dissect business process automation, we're going to start to split it up into enterprise workflow and RPA. These are tools that are used in the business process automation space. We use them all the time for a lot of different reasons, for integrating the multiple systems, to automating that data entry that we talked about with Cooper Tire from 110 hours down to 5. So these coffee chats, we're going to really start to dissect business process automation, start to talk about specific use cases and specific tools. So it should be extremely fun to get into those topics later.
Well, I can't wait. So with that, I think we're going to wrap up. Justin, I appreciate your time as always. Looking forward to our future chats, and thanks everyone for joining. Like Justin mentioned, subscribe to our YouTube channel, which we will include in a link, and check out clearprocesssolutions.com for more information. Thanks everyone. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Trevor. Talk to you later.
See ya.